We're going to go over the two most critical components of the M60 machine gun here. And why I say they're the most critical, it's because these wear out the fastest, and without them you have a useless gun. Parts for the M60 are becoming non-existent, and if you are a civilian owner, these are some of the things you want to stock up on. And those are our operating rod and our bolts. We'll go over the operating rod first because this is, without a doubt, the most vulnerable part of this gun, and it wears out fast. And there's certain things we can do, preventative maintenance, to extend the life of these. We have two operating rods here. This is a standard operating rod, and you can see it has one notch in the bottom of it, and that's where our sear catches. This is an M60 E3 operating rod. This is an improved design, and we can tell it's an E3 because it has two notches. Helps prevent a runaway gun should you have a worn sear, or in the unusual circumstance that this wears out. Our bolt rides on the tower or post of this op rod, and as the gun cycles, our bolt rotates into the chamber of our barrel. And over time, what that does is it wears out this tower. And once this is worn to a certain point, it's not going to be engaging our firing pin correctly, or we're going to have a runaway gun, all kinds of other problems, because our bolt's not going to sit on there properly. This is the original op rod for my gun, and it is no longer serviceable due to excessive wear. I'll try to show you that on our post here. You can see that there's a significant amount of metal missing from that. Trying to get in there. Again, it's extremely chewed up, and that's just from thousands of rounds of wear. Top of the post doesn't look too bad. So, the problem this particular gun had was it was running away. And allegedly that had to do with this op rod. Now, granted, I've never put this in the gun and tried to run it, and I probably just will never do that. But looking at that in comparison to this M60 E3 op rod, you can see the tower this is used, but the tower is in good shape. You can see there's no metal missing, and this would function flawlessly in the weapon. Got a roller. And that's the main area that wears out on these op rods, and like I said, by far the most vulnerable part. You want to stock up on these. Again, if you have a transferable gun, you want that gun to run for a very long time. And in order to keep it running, you have to have a couple op rods laying around, because they have a service life, and that's it. Once they're done, they're done. We're going to take a look at our bolts here. This is a strip bolt. It's brand new, Seiko. The wear points on these are going to be our lugs, which is, I'll try to zoom in and show you here. These lug surfaces, when this gun cycles, the bolt rotates into the chamber. And here's a used bolt. After your belt of ammo runs out, this bolt slams home on an empty chamber. And that is the culprit of cracking of these lugs. We'll take a look at this one. This is a used bolt, pretty well used, not in too bad a shape, but you can see there's definitely wear. You can see there's no parkerization left on this, and I don't know if the camera's going to catch it, but there's some, digging in here by the lugs. You could tell some metal on metal went through there. There's a very simple solution to extending the life of these bolts. And again, just like anything, this bolt was made in 1989, and this other one was made in 83. These parts are very old. They're extremely hard to find. They're extremely expensive. So, an easy way to extend the service life of these is when you're firing at the end of your ammunition belt, you can have two options. Link a blank round on there, or what I use is a snap cap. A snap cap. This is just an aluminum body with a soft plastic piece in place where your firing pin engages, and that also protects your firing pin. But what that does is when this bolt slams home on the final round, you're not getting that surface contact that you would when this hits metal on metal in the chamber of your barrel. These snap caps are cheap. You can get them online, and they are well worth it. They will greatly extend the service life of these parts. And one thing I forgot to mention with the op rod is, prior to running your gun, make sure you're lubricating this properly with LSA. You want a good amount of LSA on your tower, not excessive, a good amount on your tower and in your bolt. And what that's going to do is it's just going to, ensure that it's running smoothly with as little wear as possible. While we have these components out, we're going to go over how to strip this bolt. On the rear of the bolt, you have your actuator here, and you can see on this actuator it rotates. There's a pin that's holding this rear bolt plug on. So you rotate your actuator until you see it line up with the pin. Then we'll just take a tool here, screwdriver, cleaning rod works, and we'll push it, and that pin will come right out. Now once that's out, we'll rotate our bolt plug out of the back. It's threaded in, comes right off. Then we can slide our actuator off. Make sure our roller is moving freely. And then out of the back of this comes our spring, which keeps tension on our firing pin. We can then just rotate our cam out, and then our firing pin. Obviously these components get very, very dirty when firing, and it's important to take them out when you're done and clean them properly. The front of this, we have our extractor and ejector as well here, and we're not going to take that off, but there's a spring and a plunger here that pulls back and it comes off. Important to stock up on these too. These tend to break from time to time. You can still get them fairly cheap. So that's about it. Again, I can't emphasize enough the importance of trying to extend the service life of these parts, being that they're so old, they're just getting so hard to find. And once the supply dries up, the supply dried up. So you're either going to have a non-functioning gun because you can't get parts, or you're going to keep your gun running with proper maintenance and preventative maintenance as well.